What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another movie review. It Chapter 2, directed by Andres Machete. I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name. Rated R, runs about 2 hours and 50 minutes. Okay, so the movie starts off at a carnival where there's a hate crime that takes place with a gay couple who is savagely beaten by some thugs who just can't live and let live. So one of them is beaten unconscious and thrown into the river. So it's 27 years later, after the losers gang was terrorized by Pennywise, and they've all grown up now and moved away from their hometown of Derry. The gang gets a call from Mike, who never left their hometown, to warn them that they need to get back home because Pennywise is back. So the guy friend, he goes down to notice that his friend was still alive, just to see Pennywise rescue him, and then turns around and takes a big chunk out of the dude's rib, killing him. So Mike stayed behind in Derry and is still kind of suffering from his demons, from what he remembers about the fire that happened that killed his parents and so many other people. And he did some research and came across an Indian tribe that told him about the history of how Pennywise came about and what him and his friends are going to have to do in order to put Pennywise away for good. So I had so many high expectations about this movie, but I gotta say I came out a little disappointed. I felt like there was so much going on in this movie to where at times it's like, okay, like you would see the gang when they're kids and then you would see them as adults again. And it just kind of threw me off at some point. And it's clear that these were scenes that come from part 1. But with the movie being almost 3 hours long, I think that they would have came out better if they would have just made a part 3. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like certain flashbacks were necessary. And on top of that, I did enjoy part 1 much better than part 2. I was happy to see the kids in chapter 2. You know, it was fun to see them again in chapter 2 because of how good they made the movie in part 1. I just think that they kind of did a little bit too much, which kind of threw me off. And I don't know, I didn't know what storyline to go off of. Again, I just feel like it was so much going on in this movie, I couldn't really keep up. And I understand that a lot of people expected to see what they put in chapter 2 because of the book. Well, I never read the book, and I don't plan on reading the book, which is why I think certain things should have been left out. I also think the chemistry with the gang was more realistic when they were kids than they are adults. I wasn't really feeling the closeness of the friendship that they were trying to portray in this movie. However, they did do a great job with the casting and who played them as adults. I also feel like that there were a lot of pointless scenes in the movie that didn't really make the movie bad in any way, but it was just unnecessary things going on. I'm not going to get into too many details about it because this is a very long movie. And I just don't feel like it had anything to do with the movie or with them coming back to Derry. They should have kind of just stayed on point. Also, one of them committed suicide in the beginning of the movie. I'm not going to say which one it is, but it is very sad and unfortunate because I wasn't expecting that. Just wanted all of them to kind of stay together. But they made some changes. And, yeah, but the way they added on at the very end of the movie, how the person who committed suicide warned them through a letter and everything else as to what they should do to take Pennywise down. Again, I felt like that was thrown in the movie just to kind of rush it at the end, like they were scrambling to come up with a good ending. And I don't know, again, I just wasn't feeling it. And I'm just saying, for the third time, they should have just added a lot of scenes from this movie to a part 3. Now, lastly, I think they use way too much CGI in this film. But just enough jump scares. Usually the jump scares will be like, okay, y'all doing it too much. I already know what's about to happen, so it's not going to scare me and I'm not going to jump. But this time they had just enough of jump scares, but way too much CGI. It was too much of computerized monsters being used once Pennywise used certain people to terrorize one of the losers. But Pennywise, he never ceased to amaze me. Bill Skarsgård always does an amazing performance, along with all the other cast members, both young and old. So, I'll say It Chapter 2 was okay. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did Part 1. And that's just how I feel about it. I mean, I'm even disappointed that I couldn't even make myself really enjoy it as I did Part 1. Not saying the movie was terrible. It just wasn't like, I just didn't have a really good time with this one. I don't know. It was just too much going on. It just couldn't keep me like I wanted it to, like I needed it to. I think it was the length of the movie that played a lot in the, I don't know. And then there was a lot of comical scenes. I was just kind of burnt out on that. Like, why are they putting that in a... First you go from a serious scene to a terrorizing scene to a comical scene. And then again, something's bad's about to happen. And then something jumps out at you. And then they're back being serious about how they're going to bring Pennywise down. And then it's something funny again. It was just all over the place. So, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 68% as of today. That's what I seen on the internet. I'm giving it a 3 out of 5 stars. And that's on the strength of Pennywise. That's on the strength of what he gives me alone in this movie. It kept me enough to keep watching till the very end. I just wish that they would have had a more solid storyline that didn't run almost 3 hours. So that's my review on It Chapter 2 out in theaters. And now, if you've seen this movie or plan on seeing this movie, please leave your thoughts down below. And as always, thank y'all for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.